Hey, greetings and salutations to you, people of the interwebs. So today we're going to be doing a Kickstarter unboxing. I have had, let's see if I can even, I'm getting tied up, oh my wires, this box delivered by Archon Studios, well, by UPS, and this is the Dungeons of Lasers Caves Kickstarter campaign, which is going to be scenery and stuff for Dungeons and Dragons. I know a few of you are here, or most of you here, are following me because I talk about Transformers. And were probably expecting me on the day after TF Nation to be uploading my TF Nation haul video. This is not that video. This is Dungeons and Dragons stuff, baby. So we're going to get a pair of scissors and we're going to be fucking up with the camera because, you know, wires. I've decided, you know, plugging a headset with a microphone into my phone and having a power lead and everything that come out of different sockets of the phone is a fantastic idea. It is for sound quality and for energy quality, but for actually videos we're crossing, especially crossing over onto this box, we're using regular scissors, not some fancy bullshit knife you bought off AliExpress. So, which, you know, we don't like knife crime in the UK. We prefer scissoring. Right. So, we're opening this big old box and going, what the fuck have I done? Have I successfully managed to paint up or even put together the stuff from the World of Drew Slayer Archon Studios Dungeons and Lasers campaign? No, I have not. Have I finished putting together the Scales and Ales Tavern I bought from Archon Studio and Dungeons and Lasers recently? Again, no. Have I successfully managed to complete and put together the Space Orc army that I've been collecting since I was about 13 years old? So a mere 30 odd years. No, I've not even bought the Gundam I got at Christmas this year. So it's not about that, is it? And what those crafty people and intelligent scientists at Dungeons and Lasers have done, Archon Studios, is they have invented colour. They've invented colour, guys. Well, they've invented a method to pre-paint scenery that goes through after it's been moulded, it goes through another stage of some inkjet stuff that can paint 3D scenery. So at least in that, some of this stuff I am saved from having to paint up. So where are we going to start? Let's see. The boxes are marked. Some of these are let's see, some of them are they are labelled. Some of them are in kind of more just a plastic, you know, put together, shrink wrap plastic. Some of them are boxed. So we'll go for a core set. So Rocky Caves pre-painted core set, and again, scissors, Prismacast, that's what they call it. And yeah, this might be a long video-ish. Let's have a look. Ooh, they smell pre-painted. So what these are, the scenery. So we'll have to snip these all out, but And these are the connecting pieces that don't need to be painted, so they're not. Here we have some 3D painted scenery. Isn't that fantastic? Because I've had the what do they call them? Hero Forge pre-painted miniatures, and I've had those, and the quality isn't the greatest on the pre-painted stuff. But this. So I was expecting kind of similar fidelity. No, this is good. This is actually really, really good. Wow. Woo. Sorry, I should stop me kind of getting high on the stuff and show more. So yeah, look, so on the bits that are two-sided, they are painted on both sides, and yeah, so we've got all this and more connection bits. So to save my sanity, we will rebox stuff as we go, because otherwise I am just going to be left drowned in a sea of plastic by the amount of stuff I might have ordered. I'll pre-box the best I can. Rebox. Now, because when they do a campaign, what you got to remember, guys, is they can do something called six-way stretch pay. So that means you pay rather than just one solid lump when the campaign ends, but you will stretch that out over 6 months. That allows you to kind of buy a lot of shit. So, let's see. We don't want to get into the stretch goals just yet. So we're going to another part of the core set. This is the Rocky Caves pre-painted part 2 of 2. So I got 2 of the core sets and a lot of the add-on areas. So we're going to go for these. This is Rock Caves pre-painted. I want to rock! Ooh. So this is some of the more tiley stuff. Like that on the back of this one, I have put the Prismacast logo. So these are like 2x2 squares that you'll put all together and kind of make a dungeon map for your players to go on. We're just having a look to see if we have any. Guys, we'll knock the camera over again because that is that's the drinking game now. Take a shot every time I knock the camera over. So we have a little goblin character. See, there you go. He will stand there, and just because I had mentioned it, not knocked over. Here's an orc, and that is with the Hero Forge pre-painted. As you can see, I mean, I don't know how well you can see on my camera, but just the difference in quality, but it's a different method as well, and just of how well they've picked out individual rocks and stuff on this, and just giving that impression that it's, you know, being given a wash afterwards. And Yeah. So yeah, these are all on this stage pretty similar. This is kind of like the main part of the core set, where you get all the stuff that you're going to be building the main floors with. And I think the second bit is more of the walls, floors and rises that we opened first, that first part, which will give it a lot more of the character of the set. But this is like the bread and butter. So we'll put this again. There we go. So that's one of the core sets. So we will pull the demonic caverns out next. So there was 3 main sets. There was the regular caves like that. There was this demonic caverns, which is a bit more. Oh, we'll see. And the third one I didn't get was like the belly of the beast, which is more like it was gooey and inside something like you're inside a some kind of monstrous, it was all monstrous flesh walls and stuff like that, which is very specific. So I didn't kind of go all in on that. Not to say I didn't get any, I'm just saying I didn't go all in. Again, with this one, here's like the main core of it, which we have floor elements similar to the caves, but this time there's a bit more skulls and bones and blood in there, and then you have these little sections, a bit more spikes and horns and stuff, and so that general kind of layout. Again, these are all very similar, so in terms of expediency, we don't need to shuffle through every frame on here or sprue. So you could tell the anime shit. Refer to them as frames rather than sprues. It kind of shows you some of your background. But yeah, sprues. Again, this is all come across. It's good to see kind of that is cool independent company who are working on their own stuff, but along with that they do have some licenses that they do, like stuff for Masters of the Universe games, and they were doing a Masters of Orion board game and stuff like that. And it's good to see like this, a company of just hard-working individuals who are getting it right and are just expanding and expanding, and seems to be opening up the market that they've obviously doing the best for around the region that they are in Poland, and increasing factory sizes and employment, and I think they're also thinking about getting somewhere in the UK because they're fed up of all the paperwork they have to fill out for Brexit. So that would be kind of cool if there's some kind of UK situation where we don't have to kind of wait towards the ass end of the pledge manager fulfillment. Yeah, so this is not a Kickstarter. It's a pledge manager. It's a pledge manager. Forgot to say that. Or I just outright said Kickstarter because the first campaign that we did was on Kickstarter. This was all done just through Pledge Manager. So I think they could work with more of the money, and they're already kind of like you say, a trusted and established company. Yeah, so this is like, oh, these got these walls with chains and just some metal shards, vicious looking shards on the, and if there's any gaps you could shove a skull in, they'll shove a skull in it. Grouting for the demons. So yeah, so you'll be able to build some cool dungeon layers. Obviously, that means that at this time, I'm currently running the Pathfinder campaign Kingmaker, which is mostly set in the outside. But that's not to say that I can't set up. There will be some dungeons and no lasers, but there'll also be points where there'll be encampments and stuff like that, and islands that I'm sure I can use some of this stuff in conjunction with the Scales and Ales Tavern to make some kind of, palisades and kind of bits of ground where bandits and stuff might roam. So we'll go then onto some of these shrink wrap ones. We could just get these open. So these are like expanded kind of themes to add on to the stuff we've already got, so you can make some separate little chambers, or you can just add them on to the whole. Again, pre-painted. These are the chambers of agony. So it's torture kind of chamber feel. See some like the bit that's going to become a rusty cave there. Just some random dead or zombie or mostly dead guy that you can put in the cage. And then we have some more of that. So that's yeah. Again, so we'll be able to make. So yeah, you can see there's like every one of them have one of these. So you'll be able to have two of these kind of grid type things that you can. Oh, a bit hard to show without clipping stuff out. I think in terms of clipping stuff out and showing you, I might just kind of set everything up. I've not really do some kind of roaming video and show you what I've managed to actually create, adding some of these sets together. But yeah, those loose ones don't have boxes, so I'm kind of a bit rogue on those. So here's a sub theme again. This is the ritual site. So again, I think what these are is the sounds of things falling. I think that was just bits of some of the sprues. So we have one part of a ritual site here. I think, yeah, these will all be pretty much identical, so you can use this to, again, you'll be able to use these kind of stir risey bits to make either connect them or to expand things out into another layer, so you can have a bit of verticality. And these bits, I think, once all formed with those and the other four, because I think that there's 4 sprues that are pretty much moulded identically. I think they are. I would need to take, not really that much of a sharp eye, I can see that if you look on these ones here, there's less blood than there is on these ones. So even though they are, I think, identically identically molded, there is just some parts that are just painted just a little bit different, so you don't get too much fatigue on that. But even if it was just all four identical, I think I wouldn't have a problem with that. But it is kind of that's how it's done. That's how it's done. So we have these. That's the so that's the sub. Is it that the sub beam? Or was there three? I think there's 3 sub beams for every. There's 3 sub beams. Oh, that's okay. Let's have a look. That's Rocky. That's Rocky. That's Rocky. Demonic Caves, there we go. We have a sub-beam of Combat Arena. So again, this is LB. Right. I don't think, you know, even if I'm doing stuff that's not set inside a cave or a dungeon per se, I'm sure I could find a use to building a combat arena somewhere. Watch out! Yeah, if you're playing in my campaign, just beware the combat arena. That's not ominous at all. So again, yeah, they've got some nice spiky, scully bits that for the half walls. Again, could be used as palisades and stuff like that in any point of stuff. So we will have those, and again, it's a case of the 4 sprues that repeats. So it's like some mesh grids and some spiky stuff, and a bit of a step up here for again adding some verticality into your world. Add some verticality into your world. So a song by Jamiroquai. Right. Rocky add-ons. Oh boy, this is going to be a long video. So we're learning our lesson. So hopefully they don't mix this up on us. So there's 4 sprues. It will get repeated, slightly different painted, and so it'll get us to make a little goblin hut. Again, I can use a goblin hut anywhere in the world, and some rickety bridges. Again, can use rickety bridges and bits of, you know, stone flooring anywhere. It doesn't need to be necessarily within a cave. It can just be with some other parts, just generally on the outside. I'm not getting as high as I thought I would. There is a kind of little slightly sticky feel to it. I don't know if that's because it's so warm at the moment, or if that's something that after initially being unboxed will calm down. If I do a video where I've put some stuff together, I might comment on the stickiness. I might not. But yeah, there is a kind of certain sticky feel. So let's see what else is material. Let's see. Third time. So we've got the deep mines pre-painted. The depths of Talma's caves. There was a campaign book that you could get to come with this, but like, as I said, you know, we do tend to play different games, and seeing as we're currently within Kingmaker, we just started. People are still level 1, and it runs to level 20, so we might be there a while. Again, I don't know if there is any. I can't comment on there being any dwarven treasure caves within Kingmaker, but the chances of there are being one now have significantly increased. So this is kind of like there's a bridge that steps that pile up to a big pile of treasure and gold, and there's mushrooms and there's shards of crystals. So again, I'm sure some use of it will be found, and yeah, I'm just still impressed by the colorization of this stuff. It is just it's amazing what you can do now. And again, as someone who's got several projects that are not complete yet, this is absolutely fantastic. This is the spider's nest pre-painted, which might not get much use, because spiders are icky. Again, the actual painting on all the egg sacs and spider webs and webbing and stuff is brilliant. There's enough here to make some bits of spideriness and a long kind of perilous bridge. We did play Out of the Abyss during lockdown, and that was obviously online because we were in lockdown. But if we had been playing in person, this would have been very useful for some sections. The whole set would have been very useful. Guys, we're not even halfway through the box. So I did decide to go for at least one sub-theme of the gross icky stuff, because why the hell not? And this is Belly of the Beast sub-theme, More of the Abyss pre-painted. So Out of the Abyss, it could have, especially when as the demons encroached on the real world, and the real world was starting to get a bit more weird. Stuff like this would have been very cool to use. That moment where you just decide you need to check if your microphone is actually not on mute. It isn't, so we've not wasted all this time. So yeah, again, this is one where you can just see a stark difference in the kind of painting of the parts straight away, even though they are the same mold on the sprues. Yeah, you can see. Can you see all this? You know, this one is very green. And this one is very stomach bile. But yeah, this is cool. And you could, if you're inside a creature or something like that, like have an entire adventure inside a creature, that'd be cool. So we've got down here we've got some add-ons. These are the same ones. So we've got 2 sprues of the cave tiers, and not sure how well this will come off again. This is another one that'll as this is an add-on, which is not pre-painted. This is something I will have to paint myself. But having done most of the Scales and Nails Tavern, I am kind of used to kind of it will get done. Honest. Will it match? Will the collars match the cuffs? I don't know. But because obviously we don't know if he's going to be using this for on the caves or the demonic caves, so we don't know. But maybe, I don't know if this will show it off better to you. So this is like some stairs and steps and stuff like that, and rises, so we could add a bit more verticality to the map. So again, that's just an add-on kit, and I've got 2 of those because why the hell not. And I also bought this add-on, which is the Ice Baby, which translates some of the more of the stretch goal stuff to be icicles and ice caves, which is all in translucent plastic, so we could add some bits of ice to area, or even just bits of water really. So or hard water known as ice. But yeah, so there's lots of like crystally bits and so on and so forth that I think some of this is actually part of the stretch goal sets anyway, but we have some extra bits of ice if we want to go really into kind of some tundra, icy coldness parts. Not saying that's in anyone's future, but you know, pack a scarf. That's cool. Okay, we're getting closer. We're getting closer. This is the regular stretch goals, part 2 of 3. Right, let's not start part 2. Regular stretch goals, part 1 of 3. So that's that. So regular stretch goals, part 1. So this is again, yep, that one. There we go. So, just a fistful of plastic. There's some plants, some mushroomy things here. Again, there's some crypts and some stones and some torture devices and some treasure chests. So, again, it's a bit hard to bookcases. Maybe. Is that like a, you could use that flat as a some kind of, or is it just a bookcase? It probably clips onto the wall for security. We have some braziers, some more spiky bits, and some candlesticks, and some other vicious looking things, and candles on rib cages. So yeah, lots of cool stuff. So I was a bit worried then because I thought, oh, because these obviously there's some of the stretch goals aren't pre-painted, and I was thinking, oh no, is it all not pre-painted? But there is a pre-painted sprue in here, at least one. So there are some pre-painted parts if you've done the pre-painted pledge within the stretch goal. There's like some scythes and sewer grids and rickety bridges or just fully broken bridges and some walls and ridges. Yeah, buzzsaw for some reason. Let's see. Whereas this, so I'm not sure what the rhyme and reason is for they decided to pre-paint that sprue and not some of the others. Because again, this is the same kind of themes where there's some pit traps and portcullises and kind of spikes and some kind of big crossbow. So yeah, lots of cool like traps, I presume, for in a dungeon. This is again some minis. There's some dwarven things. There's a dwarven throne. Probably should have read the box, and some more dwarves and co to be added together for the dwarven mines. So again, we've got some translucent coloured connectors there, and some of this spiky ice stuff that we'd shown off previously. Of course, you can paint it how we like it, but don't really have any experience of painting translucent plastic. We've had a few other translucent things within the Dungeons and Lasers campaigns that I haven't got around to painting yet. So I don't know how. I don't want to lose. Obviously, don't want to just undercoat them and then paint over them and lose the translucentness. So I'm not sure if I need to kind of just stick them all together and then maybe do some a slight wash just to pick out some parts and then leave them. Right. So let's just say this is what we've had in that. There was one dwarves team set, one dwarven king and prop set, one trap set, one prop set, one mushroom set, and 0.5 ice train set. That says an asterisk. That's the clear plastic. Okay. So we can go on to the stretch goals 2 of 3 now. This is going to be 1 times focal point set. So this is some focal points. A wide selection of props and elements, new locations to explore. Again, I'm hoping because it's got that teal tag on it, that means this has pre-painted elements. And I can smell that I was right. I'm surprised I didn't put those other things back in the box, but there we go. We're getting beyond boxes stage. We are now just drowning in plastic. So again, we've got some nice rocky bits. Some kind of gate or vault door. Yeah, so that's the same. Some like a gate or vault door. There's some spears. I don't know if they're coming out on the floor or a ceiling or the wall. Again, these are repetition in this, and then you get some kind of more rocky ridges and just kind of runic gateway looking things. It's all very fantastical. So yeah, again, they've just done such an amazing job. And I am just try to not get too surrounded. Here we go, here we go. We're closing in, guys. We're closing in. So we have regular stretch goals. Part 3 of 3. Then we've just got the super stretch goals left and some randos. Yep, so there's no sticker on this, so I presume there's no pre-painted elements in here. This is the railroad set and ice terrain. Again, some more of the ice terrain that we had both as an extra add-on and in some of the other part of it in the same train. So in this, sorry, another part in one of the stretch goals and as an add-on. So that means we probably have the whole thing of 2 lots of iciness. And then we have the train setup that has been printed off in the metallic silver plastic. So really, we might just be able to get away with just painting some of the elements, like the sleepers and the carts, to use these. Or you could, you know, just be lazy and kind of get away for those. If at some point my players invent and develop a railway system, then, you know, we might paint them up. That's that. So we have, that's the regular stretch goals. That was regular stretch goals, demon pits. So here's the super stretch gold, and this has got 1 Arachne, the spider matriarch, 1 dwarven train, 1 Baylor's gate, and 1 ancient brain. It's got a teal sticker, so that hopefully means there is some pre-painted elements, and I believe that will be the gateway and not the others. So let's get this open. Yeah, as you can see, we have this cool demonic gate that we can set up, and again, that can be set up anywhere in the world. It doesn't necessarily just need to be in a cave to have some kind of weird portal to another dimension. We have the train, which Choo Choo was a big reason to get involved in this setup. We have an elder brain, so any of those loving people amongst you, there's some brains and tentacles. Ideal match. What am I talking about? video's going on too long now, guys. And we have a big old spider queen lady, which could be used for any kind of demonic spider queen or avatar of such in a campaign. Again, would have been really cool to use if we were doing Out of the Abyss in person, and if this particular demon lord or avatar of that demon lord had turned up in the campaign. Anywho, so that's, should we leave? We'll leave the big one till last. So we've got a Don the Minotaur. So this is a large Minotaur figure. Again, one, I suppose, a half sprue compared to all the others. But that's going to be a big bloody Minotaur. This is going to be cool. The Archon is just the sculpt work and stuff. It just keeps getting better and better. We've got that. We have a Jello there, a gelatinous cube. I think there was a gelatinous cube in the World of Slayer stuff. And I don't know if this is a different moulding of one, or maybe a different colour of translucent plastic, or a different, yeah, what was, it's a cool, you have all this stuck together and you will be able to place over minis once it's put together, so you can swallow people and go off on them and do gelatinous cube stuff that gelatinous cube do. Then we have almost there. I don't know if you can see it. This is a pound of plastic here. It can't get any higher. We'll start covering the camera. Two heads are better than one. This was a community stretch goal, so it was about the likes and shares that the campaign got to get to this. And this is an Etin giant. So there's a lot of these stuff that are just classic kind of roleplay D&D or D&D agnostic setting kind of systems. Because yeah, currently playing Pathfinder, you can just have, once you get it all painted up and stuff, you just kind of go, right, they're going to hit Wandering Monster at this point, and it's going to be this guy. Yeah, again, so he's got some cool elements. I actually love this kind of big skull. I think that's part either a backpack or base. And there's a Cyclops skull as well. I think that's part of the base. So again, cool. It'll look fantastic when put together. It's, you know, full. I suppose that's full sprue size. So the Minotaur is half a sprue. This is going to be a full sprue. So this is going to be a big guy. It's going to be a big guy. We say that. So here's the last bit. This is a super stretch goal, Baylor the Demon Prince. So he's going to come out here, and he's a full box. So I've got some, again, some translucent bits, some sparkly magic and stuff that could paint flame effects on, I presume. I presume we've used some kind of like wash or speed paint that are kind of very kind of translucent paints that they'll go easy on the translucent plastic and you'll still get the translucentness to work. I'll probably use bits of the actual sprue first, cut them off, and then can experiment on painting those before actually painting the actual bit that wants painting. Wow, where is this gonna go? Well, that's part of a wing there. I mean, it's not as big as the Tarask Archon Studios done. Still not painted, by the way. But yeah, this is. I mean, that's, I presume, just part of his whip. Wow, I was like kind of worried when I saw some of the pictures of it, going, "Oh, that whip's going to break very easily." But now I see the size of it and how actually thick the plastic is. I'm less inclined to oh, I'll probably use a sword because it might be less delicate than the whip, because that whip is, yeah, that whip is thick. It is thick. I think that's his main torso there, and then his back. That'll be the base that he starts to stand on. There's some other bits of wings and stones. He's probably got tactical rock to be on, and bits of his head and face. Yeah. And then some more wings, just for good measure. Bit more wing. Yeah, there's his sword, if you wanted a sword instead of the whip. And again, the sword's nice as well. Well, I'm not up for magnetising. Well, yeah, that's pretty mental. That is mental. That is done. Well done, Archon Studios. We'll not clap at the mic, but yeah, this is, again, what a treat! A big old box of treats. I believe the pledge manager for Dungeons and Lasers Port Haven is still going. I have purchased a big old pirate ship that I've asked to be pre-painted. I've gone for the pre-painted pledge, and I'm glad I have now, because, after all the time and effort I did to almost finish doing the Scales and Nails Tavern, and then seeing what this pre-painted stuff actually looks like, and I believe they're going to do a really good job on the pirate ship, and so that'll look quite cool. Whether it'll be used as a pirate ship, or we're just going to be using the panels and doors and stuff to make buildings out of, we don't know, but it's certainly, I'll use facets of it, and a lot of like the cool little miniature packs with that, lots of like townsfolk and tavern folk and dock workers. It could just be working in it, workers for anywhere, and like Thieves Guild kind of stuff. Looks really good, especially as it'll probably be out within the year. Probably sooner than a year, because I think the Caves was the first one doing this technology, and so I think it took a little bit longer than they'd planned. Even though they did start shipping on time in March, that was like mostly the pre-painted stuff, and then the paint stuff came after, and then obviously gearing up to get everyone sorted in the USA before silly tariffs and all that kind of rubbish, and those people who've already got silly Brexit regulations, it takes a little bit longer to get to. So, on the pecking list, having a pre-painted pledge and in the UK means I've got my stuff a bit later than other folk. So other folk who probably who have joined this campaign might not be watching an unboxing video because they've really had a chance to unbox the stuff. So, but yeah, definitely, I would recommend getting in on Port Haven while the pledge manager is still open. and to follow the next campaign, which I can't remember the name of the campaign, but it's going to be something gothic. It'd be ideal for people who are kind of planning on doing maybe a Curse of Strahd campaign in a couple of years. I would definitely get your hands on that, because it's going to be some kind of gothic castle and lots of horror themes. But again, like I say, Dungeons and Dragons, Pathfinder, etc., etc. There's a lot of reuse you can get out of stuff anyway, and if you just be a bit more freeform, you know, I know people do a lot of their own campaigns. I prefer running one out of a book because it means I've got a story backing me up. But allows me, I'm freeform, as I can go off on a tangent should I wish, or just have some good cool minis to show off. But again, just having like a sandboxy kind of campaign to back with a backbone and stuff works really well when you have a full-time job and all that type of stuff, and don't necessarily have the time to craft an entire world to yourself. But stuff like this certainly helps and inspires. So well done, Archon Studios. I've been me. You've been you. If you've successfully made it to the end of this, well done. The box is empty. The crowdfund is complete. It's a success. Dungeons and Lasers, Caves. I've been me, Bisto Yeti. Let's go out with a fist bump, reaching out across the world. Bisto! Bisto!